Well, that's a win, Chiefs Kingdom. You got something out of it, and the regular season has come to an end. We're going to get into what you can take away from this game against the Denver Broncos, what we do now, waiting for the Titans to do something one way or the other. We're going to get into a few of your questions, go over all of our game notes. Welcome to RGR Football. Woo! Mr. Dan Arms, not pretty. How you hanging in there, dude?
I was a little stressed. This was not how I expected this game to go. You guys know I talked about it a lot. I thought they were going to come out after the game against the Bengals and just say, look, we got to come out here and drop one like they did to the Chargers a few years ago when they were going for the 2 seed. And they did not do that in this game. And they nearly, thanks to a fireable offense from Vic Fangio, they are on their way to the 2 seed no matter what. So it's looking up, at least in that regard.
I will get to Fangio, you guys. I promise. He's going to make somebody a lovely defensive coordinator next season. A lot to take away from this game. I'm going to try to do the Ingram Gordon thing correctly tonight. We'll see. For those of you who happen to be adults and imbibing, you can drink every time I mess that up. Enjoy yourselves.
All right. I'm going to keep it over here just in case.
Dan starting now. No faith. None whatsoever. Dang. Okay. Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. If you're new to the channel, like, sub, and hit that bell. We have stuff for you all the time. And if you don't know us yet, he's Dan Harms. I'm Ryan Tracy. This is RGR Football, and we go through everything soups to nuts, film, performance, everything. Tonight, it really comes down to everything being kind of until one big play from Melvin, right?
Yeah,
Melvin on Melvin violence is what it was.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was ugly. And you saw Ingram take advantage of slipping inside multiple times in this game because it's very obvious. Spags he doesn't care about the run. And the Broncos know he doesn't care about the run from their game last time. And this time it nearly got them in trouble because not only were they running the ball, Drew Lock said, hey, I want in on some of this a little bit. And he started running the ball with some of the man coverage and opening that stuff up a little bit. So it was very, what's the word I want for this? You never know what you were going to get. He was very much, you never know what's going to happen when they drop back and kept it close all night. And then you finally got the big play and Nick Bolton comes in, picks it up, spins off of Drew Lock and takes it to the end zone. So, I mean, that's all you can ask for. Finally get a big play from the defense.
Yeah, I mean, me too. Folks, I'm seeing your stuff come in. It's not a Q&A tonight. That's tomorrow night. You can see that on the schedule up here. We will answer a few questions, and we'll answer all your super chats, and I see those coming in. If you want to support the channel, that's the easiest way to do it because it's right here in the chat. Yep. If you want to do something more substantial, you can go grab one of these. These are available in the RGR store, and I have some new stuff that you should see in the little banner underneath the video itself. Some cool things. So please check out the RGR store. That supports us a whole lot as well. And I do have something coming for Chief in the North as well for all of you Seth fans. This defense, congratulations to Ingram. Nice play.
Yeah.
Let's be real. They decided not to block him, so that was a helpful thing. But that performance, he's a guy they added in the season.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's here. He certainly has made a couple of plays. I think he's going to be an asset in the postseason. But let's be real. They didn't have any pass rush today.
None.
They looked like they were asleep at the front four for the majority of the outing.
Everybody. They were just doubling Chris Jones and said, beat us one-on-one. And no one did. Not one person did. That's frustrating. So and since they've been doing it, for most of the season when they've had Melvin Ingram, they've been able to deal with the doubles and getting pressure. So that tells me that they came into this game not really caring about the Broncos. This was not about that. This was more about we're just going to give what we need to, what we feel like we have to. And it nearly got them beat. Probably should have lost, honestly.
Totally overlooked.
Yeah,
they were asleep at the wheel. I can't tell you why. I wish I knew. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I feel like they're just waiting to turn it on. And I do have some faith, especially with Ingram, who I think is kind of a salty dude all the way around. Like, I think he helps Frank bring some edge to that group.
Yeah.
And it feels like we've been waiting all season for them to get motivated. Well, hey, it's the postseason now.
Yep,
Get your act together. I'm trying not to cuss on this particular show. I know it's family friendly. Hi to all you kids out there. And mine too. You shouldn't be watching this. We're going to take a couple of questions real quick. We'll get back to our notes here. Zach, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, sir. I lied, guys. The boys did not come play Mad today. Do you see a chance that Gay on the sideline pissed at something? Yeah, I did see that. And that was on the big return by Bolton. My guess is when I watched the replay, I didn't see Willie in the frame once Nick picked it up and started running. So I'm guessing Willie was pissed at himself for not realizing, because he's got the speed to be one of those escorts.
Yeah.
And credit to Bolton. We know he's not a supreme athlete, but he got it done. He slowed way down at the end.
Yeah, I think he like tripped. I think he may have hit a divot because it looked like he caught himself a little bit. And he was like, okay, I don't want to blow anything out on this terrible, awful, no good, very bad Denver Broncos field. Everywhere, people slipping. He did not want to blow something. So he decided he was going to look back and saw I got clear sailing. I'm just going to go ahead and not do anything bad. So yeah, God, that field just...
Good decision, Nick.
Irritating.
I mean, that's a heck of a combination from one of the more experienced veterans and the rookie. Like, that was a nice combination play to see just where they are as a defense. And we'll find out, Zach, if we get anything on Willie, but my guess is that he wasn't in a position to help Nick. They seem to be pretty tight, so I'm guessing that was it. Do you guys think that Orlando Browns deserves to be paid top 5 LT money? I'm pretty good with that. Does he deserve to be number 1? I don't think so, but I can live with top 5. In fact, I'd be happy if it was in top 5.
Yeah, if he was like 5, like the number 5 on that list, I think I'd be pretty okay with that. And the fact of the matter is, he's come on late. That's what gets remembered in these contract negotiations. It's not how you played in the beginning of the season. If they go on to the Super Bowl, they get there and he's stalwart. He's there and he's doing everything he can do. He's going to get that money. Now, deserving, we'll find out later. That's how you know, because your play now justifies how you get that contract, and it's all about the deserving through the contract. You play through it. If he plays like he has down the stretch here into the postseason, 4 out of 3 out of 4 or 5 years of his contract, yeah, I think he'll be more than deserving of it.
I'm feeling pretty confident about it. We'll see how it all pans out, but I'm feeling pretty good. DT, thank you for the super chat, and you were absolutely right. Saved the game, sparked them up. Glad to see that it came from, again, another rookie really contributing. I know that the broadcast really talked up Trey and Creed. Glad to see that too. And they actually talked up Quinn Miners quite a bit too, who's been playing out of position.
He's been playing
I was glad to see that, because I had Quinn and Creed like this in the draft class, except Quinn hasn't been able to play his position. So I was happy to see that. That'd be a nice acquisition when they cut him in a couple of years, because they don't have the same kind of mentality. So, hey, I look forward to that. And I know you guys are talking about Drew Lock in there. That was a precursor to that maneuver. I like where you guys are at. Let's see. Take this one. And I know we have some other super chats I want to get to, so let me stack those up for you.
All right. Thank you, Cecil. Woohoo.
I think this was meant for me. Cecil, I'm glad you're on I-25. I hope the snow is good.
Woohoo. There you go. I'll do the sound effects for you.
That was pretty good. Sean, if you guys missed Sean's video this morning, I wish you go back and check that out. He called a lot of this. And yeah, you're absolutely right, Sean. That was some of the worst conditions that we've seen in a long time.
Pretty bad.
And it's funny to me because I've been on that field and it doesn't have a ton of crown to it. But so I was on the field post game of Mahomes' first start, which was here, right? And it was a brick. I'm glad they put the heat in, but
yeah,
it's quite not up to par there if it's getting soggy, when it's like 30 degrees out. So
not ideal.
Stevie, I'm getting really close to being done with Spags. Well, Fantio's going to be available soon, so maybe there's
going to make the trade-off. I mean, it's going to be about how they play down the stretch if he's going to get another head coaching opportunity. I think that's what it comes down to. If he doesn't get that, he'll be in Kansas City.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a stretch at this point whether someone's going to go that direction. So yeah, we'll see. A couple more here. Oh wow, Mike! Cheers.
What's going on, man? Thank you.
Hope you're doing well in Sweden. Why is Gay so pissed? Again, don't know yet, but I think I have an inkling. When I find out from the beat reporters, I'll let you know. I'm sure. We did the Locked On Chiefs show already. You guys should see that here momentarily on YouTube and on the audio feeds. Matt didn't know at the time, so we'll circle back to that. But Mike, thank you for the support. Love the all juiced shirt in
That's
the
awesome,
in
man.
your avatar, and kudos to Bolton. This is exactly what I had hoped for Bolton, because you saw the limits of his athleticism on that long run. But he made a big play. He was there to make the difference. It's one thing if Ingram makes that play and they recover it right there on the spot, great. Okay, you stop him from going in, timely play. But for Bolton to make that heady play and get it all the way in the end zone, that was beyond expectation for me.
Yep. I mean,
did it surprise you?
It didn't surprise me so much. They practice scoop and scoring all the time. Like, the only person that was surprised in that play was Melvin Gordon. He had no idea Ingram was going to be in his face that fast, and he was able to pick that up and everything. So yeah, the speed downhill is everything we've talked about with Nick Bolton. He gets running this way. He's a freight train. Like, he can go. And the only thing that really surprised me was that, like you said, the headiness to spin off of Drew Lock. Drew Lock's not making that tackle even head up. Like, he probably could have just pushed him off, but the spin around him is what actually surprised me.
I'm digging that. And Michael, thank you again. I know it's late or early in Sweden. I'm not sure what you would call that. Probably early now that I think about it. So thank you. Cheers. Jeremy, thanks. I'm glad you liked that one. It just came to me. Lucky, what's up with the field? Did they heat it too much? Yeah, it seemed like it was. We got some snow a few days ago down there, and folks, like, they're right there at Mile High. It's right at a mile elevation. Like, I'm another 3/4 of a mile up. So I get a lot more snow than them, but it stuck around until today. In fact, there's still some snow out there. So
yeah.
I'm thinking it was a lot of meltage all at once is my thought. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. Great show. Even better when we manage to win. Yeah, when you pull it by the hair of your chinny chin. Whoo. Appreciate the support, Chris, and glad you're here. Sean, great question, folks. If you haven't seen Sean's video from this morning, go check it out. And also go sub on his channel, because it's in the notes on all of his videos, so you can get over there. Should we be worried about this win? When you take a look at the thing overall, Dan, and where they are going out of the regular season, should they be worried?
If they would have lost, I would have said yes. I think you have to be worried about 2 losses going into the postseason, but they found a way to win in a game that they clearly didn't try very hard. The thing that was a little worrying to me is that Tyreek Hill's hurting. Why is he even remotely playing in this game?
I actually think that is a plus.
I know, I understand why. Like, I know they weren't worried about it, but even just a little bit, with the way you've seen the field, if I have a heel or a foot in issue with Tyreek Hill, and I'm not playing him. Like, I just don't want to play him, especially if you're not going to possibly get the 1 seed. You don't get that week off. Guess what? You get the rest of the day and the week. So that would have been my thing. And like I said, I understand them playing him, and that is a comforting thing, knowing that they weren't necessarily worried about him getting re-injured. But still, I think you got the postseason here, essentially. I know that you're trying to win this game because you ended up not trying hard enough to get there in the first place, but that shouldn't have required them, in my opinion, to play Tyreek Hill as much as they did. I think it was a little back and forth. But
yeah. I'm with you, and I understand where you're coming from. I took more encouragement away from the fact that they were like, it's not significant enough to hold them out like it was for Orlando last week. And I felt like it was pretty hair trigger with Orlando. So, like, I would think it would be the same thing with Hill. But I'm glad that then they only used him, a handful of plays. So
yeah, I think he played like 15, 20 plays at the most.
Mm-hmm. Stevie Keys, thank you very much. Sorensen should never be covering a blocking tight end, let alone Fant.
Yeah.
I know. And I think you should cover that, folks. If you missed yesterday, Jeff Porter was on with Stevie and Gooch on the huddle.
Awesome.
You can always see that on Fridays. You might see somebody else's familiar face there pretty soon. If we can get that thing recorded, we'll see. But Stevie, you got a good point. Like, I don't want to turn this into bashing Dan, but there was a problem. He wasn't the only problem today, though.
No.
They were checked out on tackling, and my guy Juan Thornhill was checked out on tackling too. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for that play to Fant where he had to put his shoulder down, I'm sure he wouldn't have. Snead led up once. Matthew led up most of the day. And again, I think this is by directive. I think this is, don't take any risks on getting hurt. We need to be full steam for the playoffs.
100%.
And it just looks ugly.
It does, and like I said, I would have thought they would have played with a little bit more fire because of the way you got your butts handed to you by 2 players from the Bengals last week, and then again, Drew Lock on that first drive taking shots against Ward. Teams now know, okay, you're going to get one-on-ones, and you're going to find some success if you can hit those hole shots right there. So That's a little concerning, a little bit, because
and I'm totally with you. I even put in my notes on that play, Juan needs to be more aware that they're going to go after Ward, because Juan was late getting over there to cover it as well. And I think the whole thing seems to be is we are who we are. We're going to be what we are. And no one seems to be on the staff drilling down to the players that things are changing, that they are adapting to you, and they're going to have specific targets. I have a lot of notes here. We've covered a couple of. We're going to go through the super chats here a little bit more, and then we'll get back to everything that Dan and I picked up. Boogie, thank you for the support. Appreciate you. Zane needs to go back to the practice squad for more seasoning. Way too costly. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I like Zane. I'm a Zane positive guy. I still like what he brings to the safety position. Playing special teams is not going very well, but I don't know if they have a better option right now. I mean, honestly, if he just stays away from the ball, it might be the best option.
Yeah. And the way you figure, you're going to make mistakes, okay? Rookies, undrafted young guys are always going to make mistakes. And I know that it's not, you don't want that to happen to affect an outcome like it could have in this game. But that's experience, okay? Now he has a better understanding of what to do in these situations. Like, for example, the what should have been down at the 1 yard line, okay? Look for the ball. Don't dive on the ground. Just look for it. Watch what your guy is doing, and then find the football. You don't have to just run. You see him there. Take a second, slow it down. He's playing too fast. That's what it is. He's playing too fast.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen with the young guys. So I
constantly
think
for a rookie.
Yeah, I think he learned a bit in this game. And as much as, it was not fun to see, it wasn't fun for him getting chewed out on the sidelines every when it happened either. So, I mean,
and cheers to Marcus Kemp. Hell of a play to keep it out of the end zone.
Great play.
I'm saying cheers a lot tonight, folks, because I will be probably having a beer or three.
I was about to say, I'm
Dan's
already
ahead of me. Tatum, thank you for the support. Appreciate you. Love the win a bit. Felt like there was a lack of energy from the defense. Also, can we get some CBs that can actually track the ball? Yeah. I don't know if it was a foot thing with Hughes on that stop that Judy did. Man. Judy's pretty good at that, but it's not like his bread and butter. So I have to feel like it's either a lack of recognition in sight, like Tatum said, or it might have been a footing thing.
For me, that deep shot, what is happening? That ball is being at its high point as soon as Hughes decided to turn and look for the ball. And he turned the wrong way, and he was off on the trajectory. So he ended up looking around when Judy already had the ball tracked. So he's slowing up a little bit, and Hughes is still running out because Judy's in that blind spot when he decides to turn around. So it was just bad all around. He was trying to stay within downfield when Drew Lock just kind of like threw it down, and then he just was able to decelerate. So it's an unfortunate situation, and unfortunately these corners on the outside aren't the best at tracking the ball, things we've known for quite a long time.
They have their days. I need Mike Hughes to have a couple of days like he had a couple weeks ago. I need like 3 or 4 of them in a row, Mike, and we're solid. So no worries.
That's it. Just give us 3 or 4, man.
Tatum, thank you. Good points. Appreciate the support. Jackson, Zane, Dan have no reason to be on the field. There's 2 guys from BYU. There's a 3rd guy now, Matt Bushman from BYU as well. And, they're going to do what they're going to do. We're not going to see these guys not be on there. I actually like Zane in the safety spot. He needs to learn that as well, and I feel like that's more natural for him. When I looked back, I don't think he played a lot of special teams in college, so this is just him making the roster, basically. Seth, thank you. Lock a future Chiefs backup. I would actually be okay with that.
Really be okay with it.
I think Mahomes would push him to a new level. Yeah. And like that drop into Patrick, that was a gorgeous pass today from Drew Lock. The problem is the 17 or 18 on either side of it.
Yeah. I would love to see him as the backup because he's a smaller version of what Patrick Mahomes used to be in college. And you see what this offensive staff has been able to do to a gunslinger with Patrick Mahomes. And if you have Mahomes who's gone through that process in front of Drew Lock, what do you think can help? That can help coach out some of the issues he's had. I think Drew Lock, for all intents and purposes, played a pretty good game. He didn't turn the ball over. He made some decent decisions.
True.
He took off. Like he looked like he was trying his best to win a game against the Chiefs, and they haven't been able to do it. I think he gave them a better shot today than Teddy Bridgewater did earlier in the season.
I think that's a fair statement. Absolutely. And honestly, Drew did better running the ball than I expected him to. So cheers to him. Bill, Juan Thornhill was injured in the last game of the season in 19. Do you think that was on his mind, playing on a crappy surface, and some of those things appeared to give up on some plays? Possibly. It could have been true for the whole secondary, to tell you the truth.
I think that was true for everybody. Coaching staff said, look, this is a bad field. Just maybe hold up a little bit and don't get hurt. And if that's what ended up happening,
that said, my boy Snead needs to hit Drew Lock before he crosses that goal line instead of letting up, because that was an opportunity. Yeah, I hear you. But Snead was like right there.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I felt like they just all stopped. They watched Drew Lock accelerate and they're like, oh, okay. Now he's going. Got it.
Bill, thank you as always. We appreciate you. Sexy, thank you. Glad you're back. So you got back in the memberships too, folks. Nice, if you want to be a member and get all the extra stuff like Dan's rants, because that was kind of fun. You need to join the memberships. There's a button underneath him over there, and just join at the rookie level or above. And I know there is a way. I think maybe the technology changes where I can try to make this Discord thing easier. I am going to work on that. We'll get to that in a bit. That field looked dangerous tonight. Maybe it's why everybody came off the gas. But absolutely, it's preserving for the next game, because this one is important to get the one or have a chance to get the one, but it's not as important as the next one. So
correct.
I'm totally with you, Sexy. Pono, glad you're back. Please cut Zane and elevate Boodle. He just cost us nearly 2 games in a row. I actually would take Boodle. I'd like to see him play teams as well, because I thought what we saw on defense was pretty decent the other day, right, Dan?
Me too. It was very encouraging to see from Boodle. Very encouraging what I saw.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think an OTAs and a camp are really going to make a difference for him next year.
Me too.
Miss Holly, thank you. Yep, I try to do that from time to time. And Holly, if I didn't show you the other day, there is a ladies' version of that new shirt in there. I made sure to put it as the first option on the RGR store now, so hopefully it should be easy to find. Canadian Chief, thank you for the support. And Dan, would you answer his question while I switch batteries?
No problem. Ryan's got to figure out this battery stuff. Thank you for the question, Canadian. Okay, love Snead, but did he get scared today? May as well have gave Locke a welcome basket to that touchdown. Yeah, you're not wrong. We just kind of touched on it a little bit there. But the biggest thing that we took away from this is that it felt like everybody on the defensive side was down a notch. Specifically, whether it had to do with the field, whether it had to do with this game not being, an important winner take all type situation like you're going to see tomorrow with the Raiders and the Chargers, whatever it happened to be, it felt like everybody, even on the offensive side, took a step back from this game mentally, physically, with their speed, and it all kind of impacted the way they played. And luckily, they were able to find a way to come out on top, which is what you ask for in games where your team doesn't show up.
I think I know where you're going, and I think I like it. Apologies for the battery, folks. The nice DSLR, the mirrorless cameras, they don't like power supplies very well. They want batteries, and mine is good for about an hour and 10 minutes. And I just did the Chiefs podcast first, so always a challenge for me. Bill, another one. Thank you very much. Looked like half the defense was playing at half speed, and there was some bad miscommunication out there as well. Receivers were not what Patrick wanted. Concerned. I mean, those are the biggest concerns. When I look in my notes, it was not enough urgency. Nobody seems to give a blank. They don't want to hit today. And then later in my notes, I was like, it's not that cold. Just hit somebody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, somebody said earlier, go ahead.
I was going to say, for the offensive wide receiver stuff with Pringle, like I was watching those routes, he's reading leverage a little bit different than Mahomes was, because when he turned back in or he came back, he's currently reading how the corner was playing him. So he stops and comes back, which is fine. And then you have Mahomes, I think, who was reading the other side of the field and expecting something different when he came back to it. So when you have as much freedom as the Chiefs receivers typically do in this whole process with reading leverage and having some choices at the top of their routes, you're going to have communication problems all the time. And as much as it shows up with Pringle and Hardman at times, it shows up with Travis and Hill a little bit too from time to time. He's just got that innate ability to sense where they are on the field. That doesn't happen with guys you don't get involved as much as you see with Hardman and Pringle. But I will say, thank you for finally using McCole Hardman the way he should be used. Finally, find a hole and go hit it. Because guess what? He can hit himself a hole. I think we saw that today.
If he finds the dang thing. And
he
McCall,
found it all game.
No, he didn't. The first one, he went right around the wrong block. Pringle was in perfect position. He cut to the defender's side of Pringle's block.
Okay, it happens. But let's talk the run that he had from taking the snap. That was good, and I would like to see more of that.
I would too, because that's scary for the defense.
Very scary.
I mean, maybe could we run the option with Kelsey and Hardman?
Please.
And see, when I do drop a "we" every now and then, folks, that means I wouldn't actually ever do that myself. I'll let Andy take the credit for that.
Yeah, right.
Somebody's going to get hit. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you. Hey, good games. The first seed now. Yep. Everybody, you just want to watch the Titans tomorrow. Again, hopefully Chris Conley and David Culley can pull something off that helps their old team. Is it a guarantee that Melvin gets an extension, Pono? Great question. What do you think, Dan?
It's not a guarantee because he's a bit older, and I think they want to get younger on defensive end, but I think that he's giving himself a very good case to get an extension in Kansas City right now. He's right. He's like the only one making plays. You saw what he was doing to the offensive line, understanding that they're going to run the ball in his direction or around, and he's knifes under some of these blocks. He's the only guy on the defensive end that can do that on this team. So that tells you, it gives you a different element.
It does. And you need that. You need something different. And one of the big notes that I have about Frank Clark in there today is, unfortunately, Frank's asleep right now. And what we saw from him in 19 and to a lesser extent last year is that he rose the last couple of regular season games into the playoffs. He didn't just like turn it on the first week of the playoffs. And he hasn't done that this year. And I'm concerned about that because I think he does need a little run up to get his dander up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're
gonna find out one way or the
other. Thank you, Pono. Mike Sweden, another one. Thanks,
Appreciate
Mike.
You, Mike. Thank you.
How concerned are you with all the nicks and dings going forward? Daryl's a concern for me.
Not so much for me.
Okay.
I know that we've seen Daryl do lots of great stuff, and he's got a toe injury, is what I've seen. We don't know the extent of it, but as much as I think his presence in the backfield helps everybody, I think he is very trusted back there, can give you pass. Really, his pass blocking is what gives him that step over everybody, the trust factor. I think Jerick McKinnon brings that. The one thing that really separated him was the pass blocking, and I think that McKinnon can bring that. I think that Derek Gore gives you the play style that he is, and you're going to have a healthy Clyde. And this really brings us to one of my main points in my notes was Jerick McKinnon came to play in this game. Like, he came to play, and I believe that even with a healthy Daryl, this is a full-fledged running back by committee. You see it now. You're seeing exactly what's going on back there. And Jerick McKinnon brings the ability to get the outside zone stuff that they don't get with these running backs. They can't play outside zone very well, but you saw McKinnon was able to get to the edge and then make a decision whether I can go inside or I can accelerate and go the outside. There's no running back on this roster outside of him that can do that. And then the physicality that he finishes runs with for his size and speed is awesome. He is
that one going to the end zone. I had to tweet about it.
It was so good. And that's he just earned himself playoff reps with that performance. He earned them 100%.
Now it's to the point where McKinnon being injury prone, and he is often injured, and he's been injured during the season. Now he's to the point where he can make an impact on this, especially if Daryl has to miss any time. So I'm really encouraged by that as well. Like the fact that I tweeted out about a running back.
Yeah.
That's pretty significant.
Pretty significant.
Mike, thank you again. We appreciate the support, bud. Larry, should Anderson go to the bench? I'm okay if he does. I think they like what they're giving, except for the mental mistakes here. So I don't know. I can't get too deep in that. We'll see what Dave says this week. Knicks fan, how are you, bud? Hope you're doing good. I was worried about Kelsey for a few. I was too. Like the fact that he had to saunter off late in the game where he couldn't normally if you get an impact like that and you try to play through it, you get some of that initial adrenaline rush and you can kind of play through it. I didn't see that from Travis.
Yeah, it's hips are not fun to land on. I've done it a few times in my life. It just, especially when you get pinch that skin, it's just bone and skin right there. Like you pinch it and it's like, that's not fun. And he lands right on his hip. And he just, Travis Kelce's been, in my opinion, he's been hurt all year with something or another. And he's going to play. He's going to find a way to play through it, and he's going to worry about it in the offseason. That's just the kind of player he is. So as much as I'm a little worried about what eventually can impact, I think that he's just going to keep finding ways to do what he does best. And you saw it on the third down, like the creativity to motion him inside. And then I really thought it was a great play call. You just have basically 2 drag routes where Travis Kelce is running in between the middle part of the field, and you got Byron Pringle coming under, so the linebacker has to go there. And it's beautifully executed. And then big players make big plays. Like, that's what it was. It was great.
Yeah. Well, and on his touchdown too, I like the way they're going a little bit old school, because that tight end delay drag is something I ran in high school.
Yeah.
Y'all know how ancient I am. So I was not the tight end on that play, by the way. I'm just saying, like, that's how old that particular play or that route concept is. And I think, honestly, going back to the old school and with the hair trigger that all the other pass catchers on this offense give you, I think it's a great tactic. I'd like to see Noah Gray do it. I'd like to see him do it with Burton.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I liked Bushman coming out. He was hurt. He's the guy they just signed to their practice squad, you guys. So that he's more along the bell lines than anything. But I'd love to see them come out and go heavy with 3 tight ends, run that drag concept again. It will work all day long.
They will.
My call, thank you. How concerned are you for the offensive is going into the playoffs? Scale of 1 to 10, Dan. Where are you?
So I'll start with the defense. We know they don't care about the run. They've shown that all season. They were getting a little bit better at it, but I think that they just, in this game, they just didn't come to play. And that it shows a little bit. Concerned with 10 being like the highest level of concern. I'm like at a 5. I think I'm like, okay, this could be something, this could be nothing. I'm at like a 2 for the offense. I think that they really didn't bring anything crazy out of the bag. They did a little bit of stuff with Hardman just to put on tape, because guess what? You got to prepare for it now. And I think that they've clearly got something that they're waiting in the postseason, because they were getting Hardman going in this game. And without Hill, I think that they're saying, look, if we have to deal with any little bit here, we're going to go to you. And if we got Tyreek Hill and they're going to double him, guess what? You're our guy. And I think they showed confidence in that today. And I was very, very encouraged by that.
Yeah, I like the whole, we just gave you more work to do. Everybody has to study our film. I love that part of it. Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate it, Mike.
Colin, sorry. How are you? Why didn't Denver go for it the last game of the season? That's the biggest question. That's what's going to get Vic Fangio fired. That's a defensive coach being far too conservative when, quite frankly, the Chiefs defense hadn't been stopping them very much.
No, they weren't. But this was all about losing by 4 looks a lot better than losing by 7. That's all it was. This had nothing to do with Vic Fangio knew in that moment he had 0 chance to win this game. I don't believe the defense would allow them to score. Honestly, I think that they've shown that in big moments like that. Look to the Bengals game last week. They were getting burned all game, and then they come up with a big stop in the goal line situations. I just think that he was like, I don't want to lose by 7. I'd rather lose by 4.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. That makes perfect sense to me. Thank you, Colin. Stevie. Exactly. McKinnon wasn't alone. You're right, Stevie. Burton got something done. He came in again. This is the way things happen with Mike Burton. You guys remember how big I was on Sherm, right? Mike Burton's even more my guy at this point, because he does a little bit more than Sherm was. But the thing happens to be the same, and even more so for Burton. When he comes in the game, they get the first down. They get what they need when he's in there. And that's what a difference maker truly is, whether you get 4 opportunities a game or 40. So that's why I dig it so much. Thank you, Stevie. Thank you, Cal Chief. How they've been using 17 lately, you think it would benefit to put on 5-10 pounds of muscle? It's very frustrating to see him always getting arm tackled. I understand. Do you think he can even put on 10 pounds of muscle?
I don't think he could. I think that's why you have seen it not happen. Tyreek Hill, when he came in, he didn't look exactly like McCole Hardman, because he's always been a bit stockier than Hardman, but he's been able to put on the muscle because he has the frame for it. McCole does not have that frame. He doesn't have it. He's always going to be a bit lankier and a bit slimmer. And he's going to be a guy that you say, look, find the hole and hit it, or get deep downfield, just catch this ball. Just don't drop it. That's pretty much what he is. But it is encouraging. He's still only 23 years old. I think a lot of us forget that because he's been here so long already. He's going into his 4th year next year. And as I did see a tweet that I retweeted, he's every year he's been getting marginally better, a little bit in terms of production. He's been getting a little bit better year by year. Still 23 years old. He's had the most targets, most catches in his career this year, most yards, I think, as well. And I know the touchdowns went down from the first year, but all you ask of him is just maybe next year, the last year of the contract, find a way to take that step. Find a way to take everything you've learned in these first 3 years, put it together, become a viable 3rd option, 4th option for this team. That's all we're asking. That's all we can really hope for right now.
And hey, Terez used to say it, you guys, and it's absolutely true. Contract year never loses. So a motivated McColl to get a second contract, whether it's here or elsewhere, I think that's a plus. Yep. Thank you, Cal Chief. Thank you, Seth. It just seems clear that this game was like letting the younger brother have the hit. Yeah, I mean, as little as possible to get the W. This worked out in the end, what they had always planned. They probably meant to lead the whole way, but this was about the score that they were expecting,
Yeah, they came out. They're like, okay, we stopped them on defense, and then we got that touchdown. Like, okay, we'll coast here for a second. And then Drew Lock said, yeah, I don't think I want that to happen. And he kind of was like, I'm going to run for 2 touchdowns.
I have a say in this. Hold on.
Yeah, the one time he's ever had a say in anything.
If the QB was a bit better, that's an L tonight, says Junior. I think you mean Drew Lock.
I think if the QB is a bit better, they play a little bit better.
I think
that's kind of how it worked in this game.
This was playing down to your opponent. If that happened to be 5% better for Drew Lock, I think they would have played down to that same level just enough to get it done.
I think so too.
But thank you, Junior. I appreciate that perspective and the support. Russ, oh yeah, how did you feel the field was in terms of like being able to get pressure?
I feel like you were still able to see cuts and things like that. The running backs had no issues getting upfield and moving from side to side and getting into the next level without, slipping a whole lot. So as much as it takes to change direction with your pass rushes, and I didn't see any of them slipping during their pass rushes, maybe they were just a little bit more hesitant. That's definitely possible, and they're not going to tell you that after the game. But like I said, I feel like this game was more of just a turn the dial down situation and try not to get hurt. It's what it felt like watching it. It really was. It really did.
I'm with you 100%. Kenneth, thank you for the support. Glad to see Hardman and Pringle have a good game. What did you think? Yeah, they were your top 2 targets.
Yep.
Target getters anyway. There was one where I was baffled by Pringle on that turnaround where he just button hooked instead of working back.
Mm-hmm.
You could see that Mahomes was pissed, right? Like they just weren't clicking. But to see him come back again, like every other time we talk about Pringle, made a mistake, came back from it.
Yep.
Improving.
And then Mahomes just misses him on that over route. Oh,
right.
That was one of the frustrating ones too. So like Hardman, Pringle didn't have the best start to this game. Like he knows, he and Mahomes clearly got together on the sidelines and said, do this. And then he adjusted and look, he was open. He was finding ways to get open. That's something that I haven't seen out of a whole lot of other receivers. And Pringle seems to take direction very well. Better than just about anybody outside of Hill and Kelsey. And that's
hey, Josh Gordon, why don't you hang out with Byron Pringle a little bit more?
No, Josh Gordon needs to be gone.
Yeah, I think he will be soon.
Yeah.
Luke, thank you for the support. I liked how they used McColl today. He was a stronger runner. Yeah,
I agree.
We totally agree. Although I will say this season in particular, I have felt that once he does make the catch, he has been a stronger runner than he has in years past. So
seems like he's being more decisive, which is definitely big.
Yeah. Incremental progress, Luke. Thank you for the support. Thank you, Johnny, as always.
Appreciate
you. Hope
you're
doing good. I assume you're in Seattle. I used to run around that town myself, so I hope you're doing well, John. Is it possible that Andy and Spags play down the competition because they're too worried about giving too much away on film, like to a fault? Absolutely. I think Andy's more about the film aspect. I think Spags is like, I don't want to tax my guys. We're expecting to have to play 19 to 20 games a year, so we're going to take it easy on it. Now, if you go through wild card, it's what? Wild card, divisional, championship, and Super Bowl. So that's 21 games.
Yeah. It's tough.
So I get that, but it's just a little too lackadaisical at times for me. But Johnny, I think you're absolutely onto it. And I think that's unfortunately the thing that comes back to bite them in games like yesterday. And
like
almost today. Yeah, right. It does. It was very trippy for me when the game first started tonight. But Johnny, thank you as always. Appreciate you. Mr. Green Beans, you as well.
Hey, this is the NFL, sir. Anything can happen. Anything.
But I like where you're coming from, because probably not, but there's always that possibility. They beat somebody 2 weeks ago.
The Chargers.
Was it the Rams? It was the Chargers.
They put up like 38 points on the Chargers. So there was no way
it was going to happen.
Yeah, let's just say not to say that it can't happen. I don't think it's going to, but it definitely can happen.
They threw jump balls to Chris Conley and he scored. I mean, it's like Davis Mills all of a sudden has been listening to our pods from like 3 years ago.
Yeah, right. It's like, hey, just throw it up to him, man. He'll make a play. He's got that leaping ability.
But Del, let's be positive. Let's mentally cheer on the Texans.
Yeah, and they did beat them earlier this year too.
Bill, McKinnon made a difference in the scramble, screen game with McColl. Yep, love the physicality at the end of the run as well. Will we see more from McKinnon?
I think so.
I think so too, unless if Daryl's fine, they're going to run Daryl and Clyde the majority of snaps. They'll sprinkle some in. I fear that he won't get enough touches if everybody's healthy.
I think that's the problem. You have to try to avoid, because if right now, honestly, you've got two guys, your top two running backs are nursing injuries. Okay. So you can't just ride them the whole time. And the one guy that has a different skill set should be the one doing most of, you can't, and they did that majority of the beginning of the season. It irritated the crap out of me. You ignored the guy that has some actual big play, like downfield explosive ability that they don't have in Clyde and Daryl. And you have to find a way to get that in the game. And I think that he showed you once again, when he gets those touches, he's productive and you can do different things with him. So I'm hoping that you see more touches from him, but I'm not going to hold my breath because I might end up dead.
Right. Hey, don't Miss Holly, you are a champion of this channel and we appreciate you. We do
appreciate you.
You've risen yourself to Gooch level here, and we'll hear from Gooch.
You really
in a minute,
incredible. So thank you so much.
We appreciate it very much. You can thank me for paying off the Broncos for kicking a field goal instead of the TD in the fourth quarter. Maybe.
I love it. Thank you, Holly. Appreciate it.
And Holly, I'm glad your boy. Where is it? Okay, I got to do this right.
Yeah, he's over
I'm glad
there.
Your boy is good. I was a little worried about Butker. Another note was like, if he falls down again, it's going to be dangerous on his ability to
just start punting
flexion. Yep.
Just start punting it. I don't want to deal with it.
I mean, at least they didn't have any 30-yard field goals that I had to worry about today.
Yeah.
So. Holly, thank you again. The support is immense, and we appreciate it very, very much. Jake, thank you as always. Is it possible for the Chiefs to take two DNs in the draft? Depth looks rough. I disagree with that. I think the depth is really interesting, to tell you the truth. In fact, I just rewatched the Rose Bowl today, and I'll tell you, another Tyreek could end up on this roster that has some oomph.
I think he's talking about our depth looks rough.
Oh, okay. See, why you always got to get stuff right when I screw it up. I hate that. You're absolutely right, Jake, and so are you, Dan. The depth does look right, but I do want to give you guys Tyreek Smith, if you get a chance to watch him. Developmental guy. He'd be a day 3 easily, probably a late round guy that I think has, as I see him as developed as Kando was last year when they took Kando in the 4th. So just keep an eye out on that. He plays for Ohio State, or did. Has Spags schemed his way out of, or is it unwarranted? It is not unwarranted in any way. They need at least two. I will say this, though, with Frank departing, and I think somebody else was asking about this, I think Dan and I are both comfortable with Melvin Ingram on a re-sign, if you can get him.
Yep.
But that's still only one. So it could be a combination of a veteran and a draft pick. I don't know if they draft 2, but they need 2 new bodies for certain.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't necessarily think it's likely. I do think you'll see another veteran come back in. But yeah, I think high first 2 days. I think you'll see a defensive end drafted.
I certainly hope so. I have my eyes on some guys. We're gonna get there, folks. Believe
yes, we
me.
will.
As soon as if the Chiefs lose, As soon as they lose or as soon as they win the Super Bowl, we will immediately shift over to draft talk.
Be like that. It'll just be like that.
We won't be able to stop. So just be prepared for that. You might get tired of it by the time the draft rolls around, but we will definitely shift gears. No, we'll have enough. Thank you, Jake. Rev, thank you. Are they really saying that Vic Fangio could be replacing Spags next year? Inquiring minds want to know. Two things. Spags is rumored to have interest as a head coach. He's been a head coach before, so I would think that gives him a leg up on actually getting hired as another one over Eric Bieniemy. So you never know. But if he goes, then I thought House might have been ready. He clearly wasn't.
Yeah.
You don't elect to go back to college as a DC if you're about to be elevated or have the capability to be elevated DC in the league. I don't think they have anybody else on the staff right now that could take over as DC, so they'd have to hire.
Yeah, I think you're going to see two guys if Spags ends up going, because I do think Mike Zimmer is going to be out in Minnesota, and I do think Vic Fangio earliest tomorrow could be fired. It's not Black Monday, but it's about to be Black Monday. So I think that those two guys would be prime candidates to replace Steve Spagnuolo as the defense coordinator. Proven guys in the NFL, both head coaches. They have experience taking basically the defense and just doing it themselves, which is exactly what Andy wants. So I think those two guys would be high on the list.
Okay, I'm with you there. I really like that. And I actually like the system that Fangio runs.
I do too.
The Chiefs need to get a little more athletic to run his system successfully.
Prioritize his corner. So yes, please.
Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly. I think we'd be very comfortable with that. Real, thank you very much. Are we planning on improvement or an increased confidence in Hardman? Are we seeing it? I'm sorry. What do you think?
Yeah.
Increased confidence as well?
I think you're seeing both. Granted, I think today was a little bit out of necessity. Because of Tyreek Hill, you need to get some speed, but they found ways to use it. And I think that they've kind of shown you all season that this is what they want to do with McCole Hardman right now. And if you can get 10, 15, and then have a big break on some of these just little baby screens, I think that shows confidence in his ability as a runner, which we haven't seen a whole lot in his career, which is why I think those jet sweeps and stuff stopped, is because he was fumbling a lot. And lately we've seen them kind of pepper him a little bit more than we have throughout the season. So I think that the confidence is growing. I think his confidence is growing, which is even more important than the staff's confidence. I think his confidence is more important, because if you don't have it, you're never going to get it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Gooch, I'd be interested in your take on Hardman. I know how you feel about Clark, and we're good there.
I do too. Let's go.
Lego, how different do you guys think the game would have been if Teddy was QB? I think they would have held the ball more. I think they would have scored less.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been close, because he can't score those touchdowns that Drew Lock scored. He cannot do that.
Jaden, thank you for the support. How do you feel about the Chiefs going into the playoffs on a scale of 1 to 10? Where are you at right now, Dan?
I'm at a 7, about a 7.5-ish area. I think that's where I'm going. I know that it wasn't ideal losing to the Bengals, which is unfortunate. I think there was going to be a head scratcher in there somewhere, and it happened to be the Bengals. So it's not ideal, but you close off by finding a way to beat your division rival, who was scratching and clawing to finally beat you after 4 years. 6 however many years it's been. This is their 13th straight win, right?
Yeah, 12 in a row. So that's
12
6
in a row.
years.
6 years. 6 years. Doing everything they can to finally try to beat you, and they couldn't do it. So I think you're feeling pretty good. You come out of it relatively unscathed. Yes, you have some dings and some bruises and stuff like that, and you're getting an extra day now. You might get an extra 2, because I think they might be playing on Monday night if they get the 2 seeds. So I think that they're sitting pretty.
They might be, although I will say this, if they get that, I think that helps them this week, and that's great. I hope that they don't. I don't think the league really wants to do that. We'll see what they decide. I'm really happy with them playing this Saturday. Yeah. Hopefully they play next Saturday as well, because I think the divisional game is where it gets interesting, and having an extra day that week is, I think, a huge boon to this roster. Jaden, I'm at a 6. I'm a little less confident in, it feels like, let's see, I use a chainsaw in the summers to make sure that my property doesn't have a whole lot of fire fuel on it, right? Sometimes you got to kick that thing a lot. And it's like the 7th or 8th pull is when mine will usually light up. You get to 10 or stuff like that, like these last couple of games where you're kicking it, and it's not reacting. that's kind of how I feel about this team right now.
Yeah.
It's coaches and players alike. And so that said, it can jump to an 8 and jump to a 10 back-to-back weeks, and you're on an Eli Manning like Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
Sorry to discount all the other Giants that were on those rosters. Apologies. But
the defenses that won those Super Bowls for him,
right? Yeah, exactly. He kind of resides here in this one, so like that's certainly my saying a 6 is it's certainly within the realm of possibility they get on a big roll. I just want to explain that one, but thank you, Jaden. What team would you want to face in the first round? Steelers.
I'd rather play the Raiders.
Would you? Okay.
Oh,
fair enough. I think either of them are going to be pretty easy out, so I'm feeling good about that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lego. Were you all surprised that how much Mahomes ran out of the pocket? Yeah, like I didn't enjoy that on a slippery field. I was worried that he was going to hyperextend something or go down in a weird way, but
in terms of play style, no. I think that he did exactly what he needed to do, considering the Broncos defense is good. They have like a top 10 scoring defense in the NFL. They're just not a very good overall team, but their defense has always found ways to be good, especially against the Chiefs. And I think that gets discounted a lot because they're not very good. And Vic Fangio, for everything that he's not as an offensive guy, he is a very, very good defensive coordinator. And he's found ways to make that defense good without consistency all over the field, and with rookie linebackers and rookie corners, and he's found a way. So they're very good.
I think we're going to see, like we already talked about it, he and Zim, we're going to see two very, very good defensive coordinators that have been iffy as head coaches be released this year that are going to be available. So there's options. What are your thoughts on Ingram right now? I think he's worth bringing back if he wants to be here. I think his performances have been spark rather than fire. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I don't think he's going to get huge, like, $12 million a year kind of contracts, but the Chiefs are going to have to pay 6 or 8 for him, I think. And I'm okay with that level right now. Are you?
He's like a popcorn bag, guys. Like in the very beginning, you start to get that, and then every once in a while you hit him a little bit. He hasn't hit that set yet. He's still doing the beginning pops. He hasn't really done a whole lot yet in terms of getting huge production every game.
Wow, you hungry, Dan? Dang.
I'm not hungry, though. That's the thing. I'm just
Gooch, thank you. Okay. Popcorn analogies. Haven't heard that in a while. Yes, let's all go rogue. Gooch, glad you made it. I hope you're doing well.
Figure out how to
get rid of Gordon and bring up Stones Powell.
Why is he stone hands?
Wait, which Gordon though?
I mean, we have one Gordon on the roster, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Josh.
Sorry, I'm still trying to make sure I don't say Melvin incorrectly tonight, you guys. Thank you, Gooch. Yeah. Hey, give Powell a shot. I'm fine with that. Why wonder? I wonder why Tooney got pancaked in the pass block. He didn't get pancaked. His foot went out from under him.
Yep. Sorry. He went. I was saying, he was setting. All of a sudden, he got wide, and whoop! There goes his right leg, and he fell. Like that's all it was. He just slipped.
It was like kicking out a leg on a tripod, man. That you're going down no matter what. Yeah, and I wouldn't even call that a pancake. I mean, honestly, he tossed that guy the other time when he got the penalty, and I'm like,
that was a terrible.
Not really a hold.
It's not. And you actually heard John Perry talk about it on those screens. They do the snatches all the time. He just went, okay, go. You can go. And he hit him to the ground. Yeah. It's not a hold. It was a terrible call.
Yeah. I don't want to get into calls again. Gooch. I did just say in the chat that the Huddle Bros are in the house with Big Chief. Modfather gang's all here. Folks, so you have me and Dan on the streams and stuff. You have Stevie and Gooch on the huddle with sometimes Jeff, sometimes Aaron, sometimes Sean. Everybody's here. Sean's in here on game days. You get a little bit from all of us in a bunch of different directions. It's not just me anymore. I know for you OGs around here, you're like, Ryan used to be on every day. What's wrong with him? I have a family and I like to breathe sometimes. So like I try to take a little bit of time for myself, and it's been great as we've expanded our team. It's really taken on a lot more angles, and that's the key. Things that I can't do, like what Big Chief Sean does.
Yeah, right.
I can't be in the parking lots. So it's awesome. And Gooch and Stevie do a great show. Love it when we get the guests on there as well. And I hope you guys are going to dig it. You'll see some more faces on here as well. We'll have some guests in the off season and stuff. Like I've already set some things up with some of the other like folks around Chiefs blogosphere that I like and that kind of thing. So you'll see some. It's coming.
We'll be getting some.
Terrell, thank you for the support. I didn't see a question from you or a comment either. So I just want to make sure if you have one, drop it again here now and I'll try to pick it back up. That is my goal. But thank you for the support. And here is Sean. Okay, I'm sorry. I must have just like grabbed comments from you guys in your personal conversation. Sorry, fellas. But here's a question from Sean. That's what I was aiming for. Percentage wise, how much effort did the Chiefs put into this game? I'd say 60%.
Yeah, I'd go even lower. I think 50.
Yeah.
I feel like they were like literally half in this game.
Yeah, it was not good. Todd, Rex Ryan. I mean, again, another good DC that has no business being a head coach, and I like Rex. But I fear the longer Rex is out, either he's becoming the Teddy Bruschi and just saying things to have an opinion that is outlandish and nonsensical at times, or he's really starting to lose touch with the league. And that's what I'm concerned about.
The longer you're out of a position, the more the game passes you by. And I feel like that's no more relevant than with people on TV. They're no longer in the league. Their connections are gone. They don't have those same connections. They don't talk with the same people, and they completely lose touch. And I feel like that's very relevant in today's media. Very relevant.
Yeah, I completely agree. Gooch said, bye-bye, Spags. Bring in Rex or Fangio. Please don't diss Fangio. He has a top 3 defense, and the only thing that I think they have on us as a D is a number 2 corner. I don't know. I could see a couple of corners. I mean, Surtain obviously being their number 1. I'd put him and Snead up against each other, certainly. But I would say Fuller, I would say Darby are probably better than all the Chiefs backups, to tell you the truth. So
their depth has just been much better.
Yeah. And I'm with you. Like, if Spags were to get hired, I would definitely go chasing after Fangio for this defense.
Yeah, me too.
We are all in agreement there. Oh, snap. Take on Hardman. Stay tuned. Okay.
There you go. That'll be a
Gooch
good
is
one.
going to give you guys something. I don't know when it'll be, but Gooch will give you something on Hardman. I'm interested to see that. Thank you again, Gooch. Gabe, thank you for the support. I think that Brendan Daly could be a decent DC. Yeah.
I'm not quite there yet. I think of maybe in 2 years, I think he could be a legitimate defensive coordinator. I think that he's very good at what he does. I think maybe a little bit more work with some linebackers and things like that, I think would help him a long way, and specifically maybe corners. But I think that he's getting there. And I think in 2 years, I think he'll be right there.
I like him. I like him to the point that I would worry that the actual D-line performance would suffer because he's not in the room with them all day, every day. That would be.
You might not be wrong about that. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my gut, but
I get it.
That's where it is, Gabe. But thank you for the question, Gabe. Appreciate you. Rev, thank you again. Nakobe Dean would look so good next to William Bolton. The only problem is you're pretty small at that point. I like Nakobe too. In fact, I did some film on him the other day, and I love how much they blitz him at Georgia. And you guys got to watch that on Monday night. Watch how much they blitz him. But he doesn't survive impact with linemen. If you think Derek ducked more blocks than he took on, you go watch Nakobe Dean against linemen. It's not good. But if you were going to play the base and he's going to be your Will with Willie as the Sam and Nick in the middle,
like, that's fun. That's young. It's fast. It's fun. That's what that is.
Yeah.
I don't think Spags would even touch that.
I don't think so either, unfortunately. I like Devin Lloyd a lot as well, you guys. The kid from Utah, you can watch him as well.
I actually like him a bit better than Dean because of the way he holds up against contact and the way the physicality he plays with all over. Yeah. So for me, it's Lloyd over Dean specifically for this defense. If you have a guy like a Fangio or a Zimmer that can use their linebackers in multiple different ways, give me Dean. But if we're going to have a Spags defense, I think Lloyd is the linebacker you're looking for.
I'd even go a step farther. I'd bring in Nakobe Dean to take over for Dan Sorensen.
There you go.
That would be crushing. But you're right about contact with Dean. Dean, you guys remember the first play of this game where Willie was walked down into like an overhang edge position, and that's when he got that tip pass.
Yeah,
that's what Lloyd does constantly, and he's really good at it. He's longer than Willie. He's taller than Willie, and that's something that he could do in this defense all day long.
Yep.
It'd be fun. Why do we pick man defense at the wrong time? Well, it's not the wrong time if you follow the over-aggressive philosophy that if you send more than they can block, then you're going to get a choice of either giving up a shorter pass because it's a hot route or getting your chance to get your hands on the ball. That's the philosophy, Chill. It doesn't always work out, especially if you don't have the speed to actually get home. and actually move the quarterback off of his spot. And unfortunately, with the lighter pass rushers like Matthew, that doesn't always happen. So it's toss up. Man, a lot of good questions tonight, guys. Holy crap, we've been on an hour already.
Yeah, we have.
Wife is holding dinner for me, so I'm going to get in trouble, but we'll answer the rest of the super chats, and then we'll let you go on your way. You guys have done a great job covering almost all my notes anyway.
Yeah, right?
So.
We talked about everything.
Jaden, are you scared of LA in round 1, and what's wrong with the D? Scared? No, but I have a healthy respect for the Chargers. Mike Williams needs to be feared.
Yeah, so...
and I needed to sneeze.
Yeah, Justin Herbert, against what we've seen the last 2 weeks of quarterbacks taking advantage of some of those coverages, that's okay. So it's not scary. It's definitely not fun to think about at all.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to take those shots. They're going to find them, and they're going to get deep, big plays against that type of coverage. Their defense doesn't even come close to putting a little bit of a tickle in me. Like, they're going to put points up on that defense. No questions asked. It's going to be about how can Spags adjust to what we've seen. If they can keep everything in front of them and force Herbert to do what Mahomes has done this season, they will win that game. It's all about if Spags adjusts to that.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. Make Herbert earn it the same way Patrick has had to.
Yep, you have to.
Steph, thank you for another one. We appreciate it. On a scale of 1 to 11, how bad is Antonio Brown venture? If you're doing anything with Antonio Brown or you're venturing into putting him on this roster, it's a -17 for me.
I go even further, dude. He is a Looney Tune, guys.
He
is just taking this bus and saying, everybody. I'm throwing everybody into the bus. He doesn't care about anything except himself.
I mean, the one guy that has gotten him 2 different jobs in this league, Tom Brady, and he's running him down. It's crazy. Like, I won't even pay any attention anymore. I'm done.
Nope.
Darius, thank you for the support. Glad you're here. If we do end up with Fangio or Zimmer, what kind of changes do we expect to see on the defensive side? I'm hoping for better tackling. You'll see better tackling. You'll see more man. You'll see less DB blitzes from both of them.
Better athletes.
What else am I missing?
You'll see better athletes.
Yeah. Well, that's on Veach as well, though. So that'll take a little bit of time.
Yeah, well. I'm saying they're going to.
What else am I missing schematically?
No, they're going to bring in some some other athletes at positions, but yeah, schematically, probably more stunts. I think you'll see more stunts.
Oh, in terms of the front, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I was thinking I was stuck in the secondary. Sorry.
Oh, my bad.
But yeah, that's the gist of it, Darius. And there's enough talent on this roster that, especially in the front, that they could get pretty creative. I would honestly, you put Daly working with Zim every day. I think that helps them both out, makes them both
fun.
Mm-hmm.
The linebacker blitzes.
Here's an idea. Can I get co-defensive coordinators?
Right. It'd be fun.
Thank you, Darius. Thank you, Nihilist. Appreciate you. I didn't see a comment from you either, so hit another one if you did. Red, John's lost a ton of money today, and
Jones.
Jones. Yeah. I mean, he needed one to get a $1.25 million bonus.
Yeah, and Fangio said no.
Motivated.
And said, well, he was also doubled all game. Like, I think Fangio just said, don't let him do anything. Make everybody else beat us one-on-one.
You're not getting paid on me.
Nope.
That's what I would say too. So
thank you for your first comment.
Nihilist, there you are. Yes. Let's go. And I like the go, by the way.
Yeah.
Native in Louisiana. I like it. I hope you're having a good time down there. Go to Parish Brewing if you have a chance. I'm trying to think of who else to shout out. Couchon, make sure you go eat there no matter what. Yeah, there's a number of other places down there. I love that place. Fans since 20. Well, welcome. What's wrong with the wide receivers? 24 is the man. What's wrong with them?
I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong. I think that sometimes they read things differently than Mahomes does.
Yeah, I'll tell you that. And for 87 and 10, it's the cost of playing 2 really long seasons in a row and now going for a third. Yeah, it's that accumulated fatigue. And I think some of the drafts have been because they've had to back off on their offseason training because of it. So like the whole thing that you see from the stars this year, I think that has a lot to do with it.
I agree. But yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily anything wrong, but I do think that Mahomes expects a certain level of everything because of the way that Kelsey and Hill play. And that can leak into what he expects from everybody else. And when you're asking guys who aren't elite players to do elite things, sometimes it's not going to work out for you. And that's the work in progress still.
Well said. Let's go. Welcome to the channel. Glad you're here. First comment. That's awesome. Jaden, was 2015 a better turnaround season on this year?
Or this year?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'd probably lean towards 15 myself.
Well, we're going to find out. If this team ends up winning the Super Bowl,
it ain't over yet.
That's not over. If this team ends up winning the Super Bowl, we're going to say this one.
True. Thank you, Jaden. Gooch. Okay. Vita Vea just signed for 4 for $73. He did. I didn't see that.
Wow.
Does that raise the Jones price of the future? Because that's close, and Jones is league's best. Jones is under contract for another 4 years.
Yeah, I was about to say this was the first year under his new contract, wasn't it? So he's still here for a while.
But wow, 4 for $73 for Vita.
Yeah, I believe it. I would give it to him too.
Kudos to him, folks. Washington defensive linemen, watch them in the corners. I'm just saying.
Yes,
stuff comes out of there.
Joe Tryon
something about recruiting in Samoa that works.
Joe Tryon is doing great too. He's on the same team as Vita Vea. So I mean,
yeah, right.
There's some things doing. I think that Levi Onwuzurike is doing pretty good in Detroit too. So I think there's just something.
And then you have all the DBs in Arizona.
They just only draft Washington guys too.
Thank you, Gooch. So very good point. And no, I don't think that'll drive anything. Maybe we'll see what the extension becomes. I think they'll probably try to tack on a couple of years here sooner rather than later, so they don't get to that point. That feels like something Veach would do. Last cheeseball. Thank you very much. Did we blitz at all? Overcorrection from Bengals. They did a few times, not successfully. I was pretty. In fact, I had in my notes here that Matthew does not look like he's feeling his normal acceleration. He's not getting there. He's not tackling. This is a problem.
I also feel like Spags blitzed right into their protection. Like multiple times, the blitz comes right into where the running back is supposed to be. Like there was nothing different about what they were doing, and that was a little confusing to me.
Yeah, and situationally, it just seems to be inopportune. And I know that it's an old adage that when in doubt, when somebody's getting to you, put more pressure on them. The problem is that it's the deeper guys have to react in a complimentary way, and it hasn't been happening. Let's go. Thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Nihilist, got you. We're not playing on the road, bro. Okay, I'm with you. I hope you're right. I am totally with you.
I mean, they won't be next week.
No,
probably the week after that.
But he's saying it ain't happening. So either the Titans lose tomorrow, or they lose in the first round, or the second round when they start to play. Whatever. I'm with you, Nihilist.
I'm with you. Let's bring it on.
I like it. So Zimmer's getting fired as well. That's what we're hearing. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this: you might see Kirk Cousins in a Bronco uniform.
That's very possible.
Trade.
Very possible.
So, hey,
I think you might see Derek Carr in a Cleveland Browns uniform next year.
No, not they can't do it next year, can they? Because I thought they already did the 5th year for Baker.
They have not. They have not given him a 5th-year option yet.
Oh, I thought they did. Okay,
I don't think so.
Interesting. Seth, thank you for another sticker. We appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who contributed tonight. If you guys want to help out some more, you can always grab some shirts, get the Trooper stuff over in the store. Links are all down in there and stuff. Dan, thank you for the time. Folks, it's a regular season in the wraps.
Let's go.
Congratulations. You made it. I swear last week I was at camp. So,
right.
Congratulations. It's been a long season. Cross your fingers tomorrow. Everyone's a Texans fan. Maybe you get an extra week to rest. If not, we'll be right back at it. No worries. In the meantime, we'll probably check out some college film. Hope you guys are ready for this. Thank you all for staying up with us tonight. Dan, thank you for the time away from your family.
No problem.
Everybody, have a wonderful evening.
Do it.
Ha-ha. Talk to you later. We'll see you for the Q&A on Monday night, unless something spicy happens tomorrow and you might see something extra from me. So you all have a good one tomorrow. Enjoy the games. We'll talk